And away we go. It is the BCJ Podcast brought to you by the Holy Grail right here on BearcatJournal.com. All-Star break is just about over. The Reds are over 500. If you're going to check out some second half MLB action, make sure before and after, stop by and see our friends at the Holy Grail. They will get you taken care of. They have awesome food, everything you could think of behind the bar, and, of course, ice-cold Cincy Light. 50 cents from every Cincy Light purchased at the Holy Grail will be donated back to the university to support the athletes that you cheer for. So not only support those that support us, support those that support the university. All right, let's get this show on the road. After a rough Monday night on the BBP, it was a rough one. We're at the are we there yet time of the calendar. There's not a whole lot to talk about, right? Like, we need games, Coach.
We'll be talking about the BBP. I have a serious contention with something you guys didn't say on the BBP.
Okay. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, later.
I can't wait to hear what that entails. But yeah, it was. We're just at the "Are we there yet?" point, Coach. The camp is 12 days away.
Yeah.
So people are ready for games, and we don't see all the other podcasts in UC land stop for the summer. We don't stop.
No,
we're here.
We keep it going, baby.
We keep it going. We're like, you need something to listen to. We're here to give it to you. But boy, you get to mid-July, and it's like, ooh. So I hit up Zach Stipe, and I said, Stipe, I need you to come through for me, buddy. And he brought the ace in the hole. He said, I got you, Nick Cardwell. And I said, let's bleeping go. We needed somebody to bring the energy. And here we go. Dave, how the heck you doing? I don't really care. I just want to talk to Nick, but I'll ask anyway.
I'm good. I'm always, I always want to talk to Nick or other O-line coaches because I feel like it is the position I know the least about, but also the coach that seems to, through our years, always be wanting to talk ball the most as well, and the down and dirty of it. So when Chad told me you were going to join us today, I was very excited. I did not know until this afternoon.
Absolutely glad to be here.
I didn't either, Dave. So
there you go.
Well, yesterday Zach hit me up, and it was my 14th year anniversary with my wife. And I said, you got to give me a second before I can respond. And he's like, okay. I said, the timing of me asking if I can be on a podcast at 8:00 the next day, me asking that, I got to time it up really well with her so that I can make sure it can happen for us.
Oh, I love it. Dave, you're excited. I'll let you have first crack.
I'm gonna start with kind of something I just saw, and I'm gonna see if Coach Cardwell is willing to throw one of his players under the proverbial bus. I just watched a video of you guys at Top Golf, so I want to know who in the O-line room has the worst swing and who has the best swing.
The absolute worst swing is Judea Milan. It is
the absolute worst.
The absolute worst.
He didn't even have to think about it. He was like,
the absolute
hands
worst.
down.
Yeah. No, hands down, the absolute worst swing. The kid who really should have a great one is Craypace. He's a young freshman kid that not a lot of people probably know about, but he's been here. He's a true freshman. He's a mid-year guy. His mom works on a golf course or manages a golf course. Like, he should be really, really good. But the guys that can really swing it is Ethan Green, Evan Tangenstall, and Grant Edgington. Those three guys, they can play some golf. Those guys can do it. But to watch Judea do it is comedy. It is rough. It is.
Are we talking like not even making contact? Or...
There are times. There's moments. And then he makes contact and he hits it well, and he's like, "Look at me," super confident about it. So,
yeah,
he's got a long ways to go. Those knees kind of move in a certain way when he swings, and you're like, what are we doing, guys?
Hey, well, hopefully that's a thing that he doesn't have to really ever worry about.
No doubt. Just kick set. Just kick set.
Yep.
Just kick set and punch, man. Anchor down, move some bodies. That's it.
Well, we'll move on to actual football stuff. Just kind of from this point last year to right now as we're getting into camp, where do you think your room has grown the most?
Well, I think, when you think about this being our third season and coming into our first year here at Cincinnati, there's a lot of questions about the offensive line room. You had unknown guys that hadn't played a whole lot or had played some and kind of got benched. So you had John Williams, who wasn't a starter. You had D'Artagnan Tinsley, who wasn't a starter. You had Gavin, who was a starter. And then we had Kanju, who came with us from Louisville. And then we got DeAndre Buford and Phil Wilder, who transferred in. And so there's a lot of question marks about those guys coming into our first year. And I felt like they put together some solid work, did a great job up front, working together, communicating. And really the whole group was just hungry to learn. They were excited, new coaching staffs coming in, new opportunity for them to be able to play. And some of those guys hadn't been able to play. So I felt like they stepped up and did a great job. But there was a lot of uncertainty going in, even for me, not knowing exactly what we were going to get. Going into year two, I mean, how excited was everybody when all five of them got on there and was like, I'm not leaving. The Wolf of Wall Street, I'm not leaving. I'm staying. I'm going to come back. So you got five guys that just got done playing together for a whole year coming back, right? And so the room is doing great. You got a great culture the way you want it. Guys that understand the system, the communication, the combinations, everything it takes up front to be great, and the expectation of how to practice. What do we want you to do in every single drill, right? And then at the end of this season, you lose four of those guys, right? John Williams is going to the Packers. DT's with the Cleveland Browns. Kandra's with the Panthers. We got Gavin back, thank God. And then you got Phil Wilder, who ends up leaving, graduating, and moving on. But you got Dion. So the guys that have played a whole lot last year coming back are Dion. I think Dion Buford maybe has 1,400 snaps between us and Kentucky. So he's played a lot of football. Heck, he started left tackle going against Georgia and for Kentucky before he came to us. I mean, so he's played a lot of football. He's played in a lot of meaningful football games. And then, of course, Gavin's been here forever. And the thing that Gavin has done is he's put on some weight this offseason. All these NFL guys have come in and they've said, well, how much does he weigh? And they want to see him in the upper 300, the 300, over 300, not upper 300s. That'd be a lot. But over 300, they want to see him at. And so he's been at 312, and he's moving great. He looks really, really good. And so you got Gavin coming back. You got Dion coming back. And then you've got some guys that have been in the program for a while. You got Evan Tangenstall, who's been here 3 years now. You've got Lozawicki, who's going into his second year here, transferred from Maine. Of course, you got Latalipe, who transferred from Auburn. You got Ethan Green, who's been in it for 3 years, who's doing a great job for us right now. You got, of course, Joe Cotton. Everybody's talked about him, who's got all the tools that you want at a left tackle position. And you've got a group of guys that are coming in ready to work. And with Lozawicki can play tackle and guard, which helps out. The thing is, we're super excited about them. You're losing some guys, and those four guys I talked about who played a lot of football, but you're getting back some guys that have played, but just at different places. And so, and then of course, Taran Tayo coming in is going to do a great job for us as well. Like those guys building the communication and all of that. I feel like, we're in a way better position than we were a few years back coming into it. We know a little bit more about these guys, but we still got to continue to get reps and working these combinations with these guys together.
Looking back real quick on last year, you mentioned the excitement regarding everybody coming back. When you kind of had the chance to review everything at the end of the year, I know you probably grade them much harder than we possibly ever could, not knowing what assignments are and whatnot. But how did you feel that your group did? And was there one or two areas that you were able to kind of pick out right away as like, this is where we need to take, even though those guys were leaving, this is where we need to kind of take that next step to truly be like one of the best O-lines in the Big 12 or even the country?
Yeah, and our goal is to win the Joe Moore Award. Like, that is the best offensive line in the country, and that is our goal. There's a picture of that trophy on our guys' lockers. That's what they're working towards every single day. We want to be the very best. Our first year here, we ended up being 5th in the country in rushing. So we ran the ball well, but I didn't think we did a great job in pass protection. I think I felt bad for Emory Jones. And I came on this podcast, we talked about it. Like, Chad, like, we had this conversation. And you were like, yeah, you know, we want to be better at pass protection. So year 2, this past year, we ended up on drop back passes, not play action, straight up drop back passes on pressures given up. We were top 5 in the country. We went from, I think, 27% of it. He was giving up pressure down to about 10 or 11% of his drop back passes. I'm not even talking about sacks. I'm talking about pressures, somebody getting close to the quarterback. So we made a huge stride in that. We went from 77th in the country in that pressures to 5th in the country in the pass protection. So that was the big jump that I wanted to see our guys do. And, of course, John Williamson then did a great job with all of that. And I think for me is sustaining that pass protection deal. I think if you give somebody like Brendan Sorsby enough time, he will make a play. And he has shown to have a quick release, and he's done a tremendous job for us being able to do that. And I think, you know, just continue to develop in pass protection. Of course, the run game stuff, we will develop every week. We have a couple wrinkles here and there in the run game of what we want to do, and our guys being able to execute those wrinkles at a high level.
Let's talk about John for a second.
Yep.
How much pride is there as a coach to see a guy go from a pretty raw ball of clay when you got here as a left tackle, which, you know, a lot of people argue offensively, second most important position on offense behind quarterback, to see him go from that to where you got him at the end of his senior year and into the NFL draft. Like, you gotta watch that on draft day and just be ear to ear to know the type of work he put in and how much he advanced in his 2 years in the system.
Yeah, and I think that's the key, what you said, the type of work that he put in. You know, even when I sit down with these recruits, I'll look them in the eye and I'll say, listen, I'm never going to sit here in front of you and say, hey, I'm going to get you to the NFL. I'm not. I'm going to give you the tools, and I'm going to give you everything that we've got to help you get there, but you got to be the one that puts in the work. But Chad, you can't, like, in all of the guys that I've coached, like, him being able to get drafted is one of the most exciting things for me and my family, because these guys, you know, like we talked about before, they come over to our house. They're part of our family. Like, my wife is crying when he gets drafted. You know, like, my kids are yelling. Like, everybody's excited because of the hard work that he's put in. But not just that. Like, if you go back and watch him play ball from when he first got there, and everybody is going to gradually get better. You know, he had one huge mistake. You guys were playing Indiana. He gave up a sack.
We know.
And he tried to scoop up the ball. And but think about, I think that's the hard part about, you know, this industry sometimes is obviously everybody's watching. And when you make a mistake like that, you get, like, kids are going to get stuff said to them, direct messages or whatever it is. And I think he probably went through a really hard time and he was trying to find his confidence. And so when we came in as the staff, getting a chance to sit down and talk with these guys, hear their story, see where they came from, and then figuring out, okay, it's not that this kid can't play. He can play. He just needs somebody to believe in him. That's all he needed. And so we gave him some tools and met with him and talked with him, and he went out there and played. And I was on the sideline, and, you know, we got the iPad now, right? So every play, we're going through every single one, and I'm talking to the guys, okay, on this one, you know, you got to do better here, hand placement. Okay, we gave up pressure here, boom, 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 boom. And I'd get to John, and I go, and I look at John, and John would look at me, and he'd go, and I was like, whoa, you are balling right now. And it was week in and week out. And none of these NFL scouts really cared that much about him early. And then all of a sudden it was, hey, what about John Williams? And at the end of the season, it was like, hey, can you tell me what happened with John Williams? And I'm like, the kid found some confidence. He took some tools that we gave him, and he went out there and balled out. And I know, you guys coming to practice, Chad, you coming to practice. I know we've talked about this before, but I could not be more proud of there. There was probably people in our building that didn't think that he was going to be a draft pick. But to see him get drafted and to go out there and play the way that he played his senior year and the level of leadership he showed. And I think when you take, because we have an incredible cut up that shows his progression from the time he got to Cincinnati to the time he was a senior. Those are the things that we're showing recruits. Those are the things that we are showing transfer guys. And the guys that are in the room, you want to ask them if they're all bought in. They see somebody like John Williams who went from nobody cared about him, all of a sudden he's getting drafted. If we say, hey, I need you to punch him right here, they're bam, it is coming. So I think it's helped in a lot of ways, but that kid, he put in the work, and I couldn't be prouder of him.
Not a man of many words.
He's like when you first meet him, he won't say a whole lot, but when he gets around the boys, he is the top 5 funniest people. I have laughed till I've cried and about some of the stuff that he has said, and I'm like, John, you can't say that. And the impressions, these boys do impressions. They'll do them of me. They'll do them of the coaches, and it's like it is very funny. But yes, at first he's not much very talkative at all.
He was gonna. We'll move on, but he was gonna come on with DT when we had DT on, and he was just gonna sit there, and he's like, "I'll come on, but I'm not saying a word. I'll just sit there on the screen like this the whole time while y'all talk to DT."
Yeah,
I can say nothing.
Yeah, it just be like DT security. DT's a good one. I mean, and incredibly happy for DT. DT's another good one too. I mean, you talking about leadership in spades. John Williams, DT, Gavin Gearhart, and Luke Andrew.
Yeah,
incredible, just incredible. And you see that now, that same leadership in. Of course, Gavin's always been the guy. Okay, this is 3rd-year captain. Evan Tangendahl and Taran, Tayo. I mean, like a dude. Step up. Nah, this is what we're doing. Let's get it together. You start Lozowicki. You start seeing some of these younger guys step up and say, okay, those guys showed me the way on how to lead, and this is what we're doing, which is probably one of my favorite things about being a football coach is when you're going through the drills and you're in like year 3 or year 4, and the guys that have been there 2 or 3 years now, and I'm ripping some kid over here for not doing it right, and they're like ripping another kid on the other side. Like the players are out there coaching them, getting them right, talking to them, trying to get it all on the same page. I think that's the beautiful thing about it.
You mentioned Gavin, 3rd-year captain. One, just kind of how important is it when you are going to have some new guys stepping into starting roles to have him back? And then at this stage in his career, I assume you're working on some of the finer points. What are you and him working on for the center position specifically to kind of have him continually grow and take that next step? And like you said, the scouts want to see him at a certain weight, but then to keep improving as the center for hopefully the NFL.
Well, I think we've talked to him about it and just evaluated. There's some things in protection and there's some things in the run game that we want to see him do a little bit better. And it comes from us at the end of the year watching each one of these plays and then going, okay, the center needs to be a little bit tighter right here. We need to be a little bit better here. But we are every year. I set out and I'll go meet with 2 or 3 different NFL teams and I'll ask them, how are you identifying stuff? How are you handling this kind of blitz? How are you picking up this exotic blitz? How are you teaching this? Even to the point where I'll pull up, kind of my indie and I'll talk through them and I'll say, hey, individual drills, what do you think about this? Should we kill this drill? Do you like this drill? What are some of the things that we can change and correct? And we take those and we bring them back and say, okay, Gavin, this is what they're looking for at this level. This is what they want to see. Can you do this? Can you pick this up? How do you boom, 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 boom? and we start to give them more and more, because I've never been one of those, well, he's a senior, I don't need to coach him. Bull crap. Like, if he's a senior, I don't care. I'm still going to coach him just as hard. And there's certain things that I want to see out of him so that he can make that big step to be prepared for the next level. If he's not prepared for the next level, that's on us. That's on us.
Does it help you sleep a little better at night knowing that you're probably going to have two new guys on, or at least not new in Evan's case, but likely or potentially getting a lot more snaps than he has been, and then Taran on the other side, having Gavin in the middle there to kind of help those guys get up to speed a lot quicker than, say, another new starter or even a part-time guy. I mean, he's going to know everything for them and help them with what they need to know.
Yeah, and from the jump, Gavin has been involved in all of the recruiting of every single transfer offensive lineman, and really a lot of the transfer any of the players. Once they get on campus, he gets a chance to talk with them and kind of get a feel for them, and he'll tell me, Coach, these guys, they fit our culture, what we're looking for, or they don't. And then once they get here, Gavin's going out to eat with them. He's taking them out to eat. They're hanging out together. Gavin is an upperclassman, but he doesn't like to just sit at home all by himself. He'll come out with the boys and say, hey, man, let's go hang out. Let's do some stuff, because he knows there's value in that communication. And a lot of them are on the same little workout crews together. They will lead meetings. So we have those players, they will lead their own meetings with the offensive line, and they'll talk through, hey, what were you doing here? What are we doing here? Like, these are some of the things we got to work on. And so that camaraderie, that communication, Coach Gavin, might as well be. Coach Gavin does a great job working with these guys. And I think he'll be a phenomenal coach one day. But it does. You talking about sleep well at night. You do sleep well at night knowing that you got a 6-year guy, a third-year captain coming back. And, I think our first 2 years here, he was trying to find, his voice with the guys, and he's found it. And now he's teaching these younger guys how to do it the correct way with some maturity. And you can't put a value on that for me. Those things are invaluable.
Chad, were you going to go, or you want me to keep going?
I was sorry. I'm taking care of the dog, getting the dog.
You get the dog? The dog's getting you?
Well, my daughter's upstairs, but she claims that somehow my text messages don't go through to her phone. Yeah, it's funny how that works, isn't it?
It's funny. I just now saw it.
I didn't get that text message. Well,
Chad, what kind of dog you got?
I have two. I have two rescues.
Awesome.
One is a boxer lab pit bull mix.
Yeah. And
the other is a shepherd husky mix.
Whoa, that is a lot of hair. That's got to be a ton.
It's
of
a
hair.
lot. Well, it's actually, she's kind of short hair, but she sheds like she's like every bit like she's a big dog.
I got a German Shepherd, and it is hair all the time,
everywhere, constantly. Yeah.
Unreal.
Gavin took over for, I think, Garrett Campbell. So inside, Garrett Campbell was another guy that was here for 6 years. He's a long time friend of
the
Bearcat
Bearcats
Journal.
have had like 2 centers since 1997, I think.
That is hilarious. That is unreal.
Garrett,
I didn't know that.
You've seen Garrett around. Garrett comes around a little bit here and there. If you haven't met him, I'll introduce you to him. Garrett's awesome.
Someone's got to introduce me. That'd be great.
Garrett was a walk-on and ended up becoming a starter and was a key component on those early Luke Fickle teams that Ron Crook coached. So awesome. Garrett's awesome. And I think there literally was only – who's the kid that went to Memphis, Dave?
Oh, Jakari Robinson.
I think Jakari was like the bridge between Gavin and Garrett Campbell. And Garrett Campbell came here under Butch Jones.
When Jakari got in the portal, I think I was at Appalachian State, and I tried to get him.
Jakari's a good kid. I love Jakari.
Memphis and Bowling Green, I think, too. He played both spots.
Yeah, did he end up at Bowling Green?
I think so, yeah.
Because I think I saw that he had got back in. I was like, well, maybe it didn't work out.
He started at Memphis the whole year. I don't know. Yeah.
You never know the reasons why these guys do the things that they do.
Yeah, we'll get to the portal in a minute.
Well, that's what I was gonna go to. Speaking of transfers, you guys went big for Joe Cotton, had a ton of interest. When you first saw his tape, what jumps out? What can we expect? It seemed like, when you get into the spring portal and you're a left tackle, he might be great, and that value is still going to go even higher than that because of the scarcity of the position and everything. So when the recruiting staff identified him and passed it on to you and you really started watching, what's the first thing that you were like, yes, absolutely, we got to get this guy?
Yeah, I think he's a massive human being. Just big frame, big body, and super athletic, and can move, all of that, but just being that big. And then when we got him on campus and we got a chance to sit down and talk ball, I was like, oh, this kid's a real deal. As far as, and really we don't know until we get him out there. Obviously, we've seen game film and he's played against SEC teams. I think his first start might have been against Missouri. Like, he's gone against some really good D linemen. He's done some stuff. But sitting down and talking with him, he's like, okay, well, when you do this, why do you do this? Like, he asked those kinds of football questions, and he's super aware, and he's a good person, and he works hard. Like, those intangibles were big for us. We're not going to bring in, I don't care how big you are, how athletic you are. If you're not a good person, like, you ain't got to be a Sunday school teacher. But I mean, if you are not at least a good kid that wants to work hard and you don't have a chip on your shoulder, we don't want you. And that's the kind of kid he was. But watching this film, he can run off the ball. He moves great, and he's just a massive kid. But once we got him in the film room and started talking ball, you could tell he was super intelligent, had good awareness of what he was trying to do. And the thing that I tell my son every time he goes to practice, number one, you better be the best teammate out there. You better have the most energy, and you better be the most encouraging person on your team. That's what you have to be. For me, I like hard work. I get it. All that stuff, absolutely. Blah, blah, blah. Yes, we want all that stuff. But you better be a good teammate. And that's what he is. That's what Joe Cotton is. And he is a good teammate who's always pulling for the guys. And we've got a tight-knit group, that's for sure.
Take people through. People on the outside see the announcement when it goes public. Like they think that's, because they're not behind the scenes, they think that's when it happens.
Yeah.
When you get a kid like that and you bring him on a visit and he's got everybody else trying to knock his door down and he's got a visit to some crappy place up north already scheduled that he's supposed to have after he comes to visit you guys. And you're sitting at breakfast before they leave town, and like, if we don't get this done now,
yeah,
the chance that we don't get it done increases tenfold. And then the kid says, I'm coming.
Yeah.
How do you keep from not jumping out of your skin? Do you jump out of your skin?
Yeah. Well, I think the first thing I think for me is I never let a kid leave without, one, him knowing that we want him, and two, what are we doing? Like, what is your next steps? Are you going to go visit somebody else? Like, where do we go from here? Like, we want you to be here. Are you ready to commit? Like, and you kind of get a feel for it through the recruiting process of,
sure,
hey, you talk to different people and like, hey, they don't want you to put any pressure on them, or they're like, go get him if you want him, like whatever it is. And we were sitting at the table, and I was like, all right, Joe, hey, like, this has been great. Building this relationship with you is awesome. Mom and dad are incredible people. All these people are awesome. This is great. We want you to be a Bearcat. Like, what do you need to do? Are you going to go on visit? Like, what's the next step? We want you to be here. He's like, man, he's like, I'm glad you asked. He said, because I didn't know how to bring it up. He said, I want to be a Bearcat. And I was like, let's go. So I got up at breakfast, and I picked up a chair, and I was like, man, I will throw this through this window, and somebody will have to pay for it. But it was like, I mean, I think for the recruiting staff, for all the people that are involved, the head coach, the position, obviously me, the position coach, but all the position coaches, like everybody's involved in recruiting this guy. Like everybody on campus, Aaron Himmler does a great job. Nico does a great job. Academics does a great job. Every time they meet with these guys, and everybody's doing everything they can to paint a picture of what it looks like to be a Bearcat. And for all of that to finally come to fruition, knowing, hey man, he would be a huge addition to our room, it feels awesome. It feels great, and it was, man, it was just super exciting for all of us. And then you start to think, okay, God, I hope he can play. You're like, man, I watched this film and I know he can play, but man, when he gets there, I hope he can play. There's always that part of you that's like, all right, when we get out here, okay, this is what I want to make sure I want to see him do, which we've already seen on film. So we know he has a good skill set. We just wanted to continue to grow on that. But it was a super exciting thing for our whole staff. It was during the Masters, I think. And so the Rory McIlroy meme of him walking off the Masters going and like looking exhausted. I sent it into the staff group chat because it was like finally we got it. We got it. So it was an awesome deal.
And that's a tough one because you guys wanted to get that locked up in the winter.
Yes.
That left tackle spot.
Yep.
And you had one that you probably thought that you were really close on that ended up going the other way. It's got to be nerve-wracking to go into the spring. Like we still don't know at left tackle. And
yeah, and I think, man, I am, like I've said before about other parts, like I'm not a Sunday school teacher, but I am a man of faith, and I believe everything happens for a reason. And I believe God had a plan. And we struck out on a few that we were really trying to get in that winter. And honestly, looking back at it, this kid he's better than those, so maybe it all worked out, maybe it's the way it's supposed to be. So I don't ever stress out about it. I in my mind, I'm going to do my very best. I'm going to work my hardest. I'm going to do everything that I can to get this kid to commit, whoever it may be. And if it doesn't work out, he says he wants to go somewhere, slap you a high five, man, go be great. Because maybe he wasn't going to be the best fit. Maybe there's another kid out there that is the best fit for the Bearcats. And that's the kid that we want. We want the kids that want to be here. And so, yeah, going through that process and knowing that you really like, man, I really need this one. Like I really need this one. we can make this happen. It'd be great. And so, but yeah, it's worked out, and we're excited to see what he's got when we get out there in camp. We're excited to see him get out there and move around and play some ball. And, he's done a great job with the guys so far.
I'll go, not that one is necessarily better than the other, but Taran Tayo coming in from Ball State, just watching him like rep 635 on the squat, I was like, what in the world is going on here? But tell us a little bit about him, and just, I feel like with him and Evan, you've got quite a bit of nasty at the guard spots that I'm not going to say you didn't have before, but that's kind of those guys' MO, and hopefully that then translate to a lot of pancakes and a lot of big holes for the running backs in the fall.
Yeah, the big thing with Taran that I don't think a lot of people know about that deal right there was he had to be in at 5:30 because our crews, we break into crews. And so their crew had come in last place. And if you come in last place, you kind of got like an extra deal at 5:30. And so he had come in at 5:30 and worked out, and then, or did like a little small workout. And then we got underneath it. I think it was 6:55 for 4. And you could see on there, if you watch the video, Nico was telling him, rack it after 2. And Taran goes, no. Boom. Drops down, does it again. Nico says, rack it. Taran goes, no. And then drops down and does another one. And then finally racks the weight. What Taran brings is like an edge, like a nasty edge to him, to where he's like a street fighter. Like he's a nasty dude that wants to go out there and finish people. And he's not like he wants to go against Dante Corleone as many times as he can. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of kid that he is. But when you're looking at that guard position, I just want to make sure we're very clear that there are several in that room that can definitely play at that position. Lozowicki, who came in as a tackle in the spring, had a hell of a spring. His punch will send people flying. And I don't know if I know we got film of it, but he has got a punch on him. So you're looking at guys that will rotate at that guard position. Is you got Evan, Lozo, and you've got Taran as well playing that position, where Evan and Taran both can play center as well if we need them to. And another interior kid that's done an incredible job for us, he's a walk-on kid from Cincinnati, Grant Edgington, who is already over 300 pounds, but I think this is his second or third year in our system, and he does a phenomenal job for our guys. So that helps us have a little bit of depth up there when you have a long season. But those three have a nasty punch as far as Taran, Evan, and Lozo, and Grant can come in and help out at center as well. But they're talented.
Give us some insight on some of the young guys that are, biding their time. I know it's a little bit harder.
Yep.
At offensive line, probably more than anywhere. But guys like Zach Clark and Jake Wheelock and Cray Page that's coming in, Marcus McGregor, Zach Taylor.
Yeah.
What is the room like with some of those young guys that are biding their time and hitting the weights and trying to make their way up the roster?
Yeah, I mean they've all come in, and with what happened in April with the passing of Jeremiah, one of the young guys that came in early, you could tell that it was a special group even before that, and then since that has happened, just the camaraderie and the guys continuing to come together and grow together only makes the room that much better. But I can't help but think about Jeremiah Kelly when you talk about young guys who he's an awesome, incredible kid, and was going to be a great player for us, and it has an incredible family as well. And he's constantly on our guys' minds as well when we're out there playing ball and when we're in our meetings and stuff like that. The young guys that came in mid-year with him was Cray Page and Zach Taylor. They've done a really good job of coming along. Zach is very strong, got some good twitch. Cray's got incredible size to him. Smart, both of them smart football players. The young guys in that next group coming up, you got the Aiden Pastoriza, you got Zach Clark, you got Wheelock as well. And Wheelock's done a great job at our interior level. Another center guy like Grant Edgington, who's done well. Zach Clark can absolutely run. I mean, he can go for a
6'6", 308, by the way.
Yeah, and can move. And so we're continuing to work on him on having an anchor. Like you got to be able to anchor down when somebody comes to push up against you. So we're working on his anchor, and he's getting there. He's done a great job. Nico has done a phenomenal job with those guys as well. Aiden is another kid that can probably come in and play some guard. He's over 300 pounds. He's a kid that was 240 in high school. And our recruiting staff did a great job of identifying him. And now I want to say he's maybe 315, 316. I mean, he can move
315 is what Nico lists him at.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and he's like a machine. If you talk to him and you look in his eyes, it's like a machine. Like he might take somebody out. Like he's got that look about him. And he's been great. Him and Zach and Wheelock and those young guys. So, and I think a kid who's coming into his last couple of years, I think you think about Ethan Green, who's been with the program for a while. He's done a great job leadership-wise. He's done a great job working. He's had a great attitude. He's getting after it. He's big. He's fast. He can move. He's a guy that's pushing to be in the rotation to play. And him and Judea both. Like those two guys pushing to be in the rotation to play. Nolan Latalipe transferred in, but he's a young transfer. He's still got 3 years left. He's a monster. You got the size on him. It's got to be like 6'7", something
6'8",
like that.
315.
Yeah, monster. I mean, stupid big. Like he's just big, big Canadian with a big mustache, and he's good. He's got a shot. So it's a big summertime for these guys, and it's a big fall camp to see who's going to come out, because we've seen guys make huge strides with Nico, and huge shout out to Nico, Robo, Garcia, Scotty, and Coach Friend as well. Those guys do a phenomenal job in that weight room. Whereas Phil Wilder came in and could barely squat 225 when he first came in. It was bad. Transfer from SEMO. And then by the time we got to the season, he could rep 315. And you're like, what in the world just happened? You know? And so Nico does a great job with those guys. And that's what we're looking to see happen with some of these guys who are fluid and can run, like the Zach Clarks. You know, those kind of kids, we're looking for them to continue to make that big jump. So this fall camp's going to be big.
And then Taranteo put Philip Wilder on his shoulders with that 315 and did 4 reps.
Buddy, in that like, I mean, that's dumb. I was like, this kid. And he was up the other day. I saw him. We had a meeting or something. And I saw him, and I was like, something happened to his eye. I was like, would you bust a blood vessel in your eye, lifting weights too much? He's like, I think so. And I'm like, I love him. And that's the way I like him.
You mentioned Jeremiah just real quick. Is there anything you guys are going to, and from the outside looking in, you don't see many freshmen that look like they're ready and that were repping with the 1s and 2s and that had the respect already of his teammates. It seemed like he didn't look like he was like, freshmen can sometimes, they hang around the outside, right? They look like they're not part of the group, and he didn't have that presence about him. Is there anything you guys are going to do to honor him throughout this year?
Yeah, I think I know Coach Sat has something planned with our equipment guy. I think we're going to have something on our either a helmet or a jersey that honors him. His mom's coming to the first home game and wanting to honor her as well. And what an incredible lady. I mean, she's been awesome through all that, and the whole Avon community are just incredible people. But an awesome young man. I mean, you're talking about the Saturday before he passed away, he was working at a nonprofit kitchen. And it wasn't something that I set up. It was something that actually Gavin Gearhart had set up, and the whole O-line were out there doing it. You know, and that's the stuff that people don't see or know that goes on, because guess what? We didn't send a camera crew. We didn't send the picture crew. This is something the guys wanted to go do, and so they went and did it. But you know, he was always asking questions. He came to work every single day, and I can see him through his helmet. But I'll never forget one day he finally got his hands on like a safety or somebody in a team practice, and he finished him. And he hopped up and he looked at me and he was just laughing and having a great time. The kid had earned his black shirt and all that, but a tremendous young man. And I know we have some things. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I know I've talked with JD, our equipment guy, and with Coach Sat about it. We will have something this season for sure. And Mom is going to be coming down for that first home game.
Good to hear. Follow that up, Dave.
I'm not going to. I'm gonna tell Coach Cardwell thank you for joining us and let him go put his kids to bed. I know so there's not really a reason to go in any other direction.
9 o'clock is bedtime. My in the summertime when we get some vacation, my wife likes to plan as many things as possible.
Just wear them out.
Just wear them out. And we got back from all the vacation and all that stuff. I think we put them down at 8, and I didn't see them up till after 9 o'clock the next day. They were like, I was like, you did it, babe. Like, I didn't think you could do it, but you did it. I said, I feel like an innocent bystander. I'm the same way. I'm like, oh, gosh, you got us. You won.
Yeah, mine this week had 5:30 wake up calls for volleyball stuff.
Oof.
And yesterday she came home and she went into her room at 12:30, and I think she came out at 6. So a nice 5.5 hour nap in the middle of the afternoon.
They gotta. I mean, they gotta sleep. They gotta
Yeah.
sleep. They gotta get some rest. But I appreciate you guys supporting us and having me on here. It's always fun getting on here with you guys and Chad, seeing you out there practice. I will say, last time that I was on here, I called you out for falling asleep in one of our practices, and since then, you have not fallen asleep, not one time, even though you did deny it. That it wasn't a thing.
I was resting my eyes.
Rest of your eyes.
Yeah, I'm old. Like us old guys, sometimes we got to rest our eyes.
Football practice.
It was during the season, and they had like the setup with the chair,
and we couldn't see.
Yeah,
I just kind of gave it one of these for a little
bit. It was sit back here, and I'll work our drills, and like in between or on the way to drills, I kind of look up to kind of just see what's going on around me. And I looked over there, and Chad is out, and I was like, I can't wait till practice is over. I can't wait because I'm gonna get him.
He still hasn't let me stop hearing about it, so I know I've got to be on my toes.
Yeah, I started trying to yell louder, but they had the music blaring like right next to you, so you're just like,
it didn't matter. You could have yelled. You could have stood next to me and yelled.
Yeah. Oh, you was out.
I was out. It happens.
Well, we appreciate you guys, man.
Thanks, Coach. We appreciate it, man. And
Thanks for coming on.
I'll see you here in 12 days. Let's get it going.
That's right. Ready to go.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
All right. See you, buddy.
There you go. Coach Nick Cardwell. I love talking to him.
Oh, yeah.
Even though he still won't let me. He won't. I don't think I was asleep. I think I just was chilling. But
yeah,
he saw me with my eyes closed, so I was asleep.
You're probably pulling to me like, oh, it's the threes are in there. I'll just take a quick little couple minutes.
Like the sun is in your eyes and it's hot, and you're just kind of like, all right. And then next thing you know, I'm getting ridden hard at the end of practice. Like, you were sleeping. I was like, I was not. But you know, the saga of coaches riding me for stuff is always fun. It's part of
that's what happens when you show up every day. You develop relationships, and then that's okay. They're not even paying attention to you if you're not there every day.
Right. They don't get on anybody else. They just get. Wes got on me today for asking I don't know what you're trying to get at. I asked the question. That's what I was trying to get at.
If we're doing that on July 16th, that makes me concerned about January 24th.
Oh boy. All right, there you go. That is Nick Cardwell. And like I said, man, we're almost there, Dave. It is 12 days. It's hard to believe we are 12 days away from the start of camp, and
12 days of Christmas.
12 days of Christmas. We're counting down. But that segment with Nick Cardwell brought to you by our good friends at Turtles Brew. 0 sugar, 0 carbs, gluten-free. It's a bourbon-infused sweet tea. It's got 6% ABV. There's lemonade tea and strawberry mint and cherry lime and raspberry peach and orange vanilla. There's more than 50 locations in and around Greater Cincinnati, over 100 in the state of Ohio total. If you want to find the location nearest you, all you got to do, go to turtlesbrew.com. A lot else to get to. We'll talk a little basketball here momentarily, but I guess the next big thing is the Athletic releasing their quarterback tiers today, Dave. And if you looked around at some things in the summer, ranking the Big 12 quarterbacks, whatever it like, and you looked, and a lot of those, Brendan Sorsby down, 10, 11, 12 in terms of best quarterbacks in the Big 12. Not the case in the Athletic. I think he was fourth or fifth. And one of the top 20 quarterbacks in the country. A much different view from the Athletic. This list was done kind of with the NFL quarterback tier system that the Athletic does every year with that list in mind. And I think one of the things is it says a lot about what not just scouts and people that see the physical stuff from Sorsby, but the coaches that played against him last year had a very high opinion of him.
Well, yeah, I mean that's always the part that I don't know makes me laugh. Whatever is like, you put a list together. Who did you talk to about this list? Oh, it's just you watching like 7 cut-ups on YouTube or something. Cool. So yeah, this list was compiled with some assistance from what it seemed like opposing coaches and then also NFL scouts. I mean, that stuff is all there. I mean, the stuff they said is not like we're not uncovering any news.
Not new to us.
No, he's got to put it together, be more consistent, hopefully get a little bit more help from a new wide receiver group. But I mean, forget exactly what it said. Was it the Big 12 or the country that he was like the only quarterback that had a 400-yard passing game and a 125-yard rushing game?
Yeah, it was the country. Or no, it was the Big 12. It's the only one.
It's all there. But yeah, it was nice to see. I was a bit surprised he was that high. I mean, I think he should be higher than some of these other things that were out earlier in the summer. But I mean, top 20 is top 20. I mean, there's 136 quarterbacks. So good for him, good for the program. Now we just got to go out and win some games.
The thing was 20, but quite a few Big 12 names either above him or right there with him.
Yeah.
So the conference is going to be interesting this year because last year I think it was very clearly a year of the running back in the conference. I think from a national perspective, you know what doesn't put a lot of butts in seats? The year of the running back in your league.
No.
But this coming year, there's a lot of pretty high-profile quarterbacks at the top of this league that I think if their teams play well, these guys are going to get a lot of conversation. There is a chance, optically, for this to be a very big year for the Big 12 just on the back of Sam Leavitt and, Avery Johnson and Iowa State and Utah, and there's quite a few guys in that upper tier.
Sam Leavitt was at 7, Josh Hoover from TCU was at 9, Sawyer Robertson, Baylor 11, Rocco Beck, Iowa State 14, and then Brendan was at 20, and then you had Avery Johnson, Devin Dampier, Utah's new quarterback who I like a lot, and Baron Morton at Texas Tech. We're all top 30 guys. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You had 8 Big 12 quarterbacks in the top 30.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. There are 5 Big 10 quarterbacks in the top 30. There are...
It's about 30% of the top 30.
8
Big 12 quarterbacks.
SEC quarterbacks in the top 30. They actually have 4 SEC quarterbacks in the top 5. I'm not sure on a couple of them yet, but whatever. That's a big guess there on 2 of them.
Where's Wisconsin?
Maybe. What's that?
Where's Wisconsin?
Well, I've already X'd out of it, so I'd have to go back and look. But
don't worry about it.
But no, I mean, I think it's like I said, maybe a little bit higher than I would have expected, but definitely, in that 20 to 30 range, I think is certainly fair.
Yeah, it's an opportunity, I think, for this league to make it, make a bigger name for itself to because that's kind of been the thing is, okay, there's a lot of good football there's a lot of good football in the Big 12, but is there any great football? If you got 8 top 30 quarterbacks, you know what? 4, 5, 6 of them need to step up and kind of carry the banner for the league this year.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So, anything else in that realm?
I'm back in it now. Hold on one second.
Okay.
A gentleman named Billy Edwards Jr. Is that Bill Edwards Jr. that played at Wright State basketball? I don't know, but He is 56th for the Wisconsin Badgers.
And guess what? With that schedule, 56 is going. It's going to be tough to navigate when that Wisconsin schedule is a monster.
Transfer from Maryland,
Okay.
where he attempted 40 or more passes in 6 games. But that's because Maryland's run game was dog baby.
Any other Big 12 stuff you want to get to this week, Dave?
I did just see that I saw it earlier today, not just see, but there some new odds for Big 12 champion. The Bet Online has the Bearcats at 25-1 odds of winning the Big 12. That is counting ties. A couple teams have the same odds. 10th best.
Cincinnati was 10th. Yeah, 10th.
Yeah. So
saw that earlier.
Utah, the
what is that about? Like that they jumped up in a couple different sports books this week to the betting favorite for the Big 12.
I think they're going to take a massive jump at quarterback from last year.
Yeah, I mean, with the injury, and I don't think that guy was quite what the hype was around him. And then in and out, and is he going to play, and is he not going to play?
Well, even I forget his name, but I just call him Zach Wilson's little brother. But even when he was in there, like Devin Dampier is like a legit dude for them, and you know that they're going to have a big physical offensive line,
and a big physical defense.
You know they're going to have a strong defense. So if this guy can run, he can throw. I have no idea what they have at the skill spots, but I'm sure it's nothing terrible. So yeah, I just think probably buoyed by that in that people are just expecting them to take a big jump at quarterback, and maybe they have. I have not analyzed it. Maybe they have a favorable schedule, or at least appear to have a favorable schedule. We know how that has worked out the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So
good luck with that.
It's not a stunner to me because I think there's a group of teams that I think you can make clear, concise arguments for. If I told you, I think they're going to the season should be like one of the top the top team favorite to go to Dallas or Arlington, whatever you want to call it. I would say, yeah, that makes total sense. So
Kansas State, Iowa State, Utah, Arizona State.
That's it. Stop there.
Those 4.
Yeah,
I'm not ready to Texas Tech or Baylor in there.
Not yet. No, I am not.
I mean, Baylor's interesting because they did finish really strong.
Yeah, I like Sawyer Robertson a lot too at quarterback, and seems like Dave Aranda got things figured out defensively there. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they figured it out and made a run. But I'm totally committed to the Marvin Lewis axiom of I see better than I hear when it comes to Texas Tech.
Are you in on the Arizona State hype train? I think they're in an interesting spot because we have seen in this conference before teams jump up and then fall back and jump up and fall back.
Well,
you don't see a whole lot of jump up and stay up.
The reason I am is I think they have the best quarterback and the best wide receiver in the conference. And then from what I've gathered, they have a ton of guys coming back on defense.
Yeah.
And while Scadaboo was kind of their do-everything guy, like getting Jordan Tyson back with Sam Levitt another year, and then you would think they would have returning starters does not equal returning production necessarily. But if I'm bringing back the best quarterback and the best wide receiver in the league, and the vibes are, vibing down there, like they have every reason to think that we are going to go back to the Big 12 championship game.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting because it's just because the conference is so tightly bunched, and because it feels like most every game is a coin flip. Now, I do think there's probably going to be a couple bad teams at the bottom of the league this year. I do think it's interesting on is that magic repeatable for them? I don't know. I like them. I think they're going to be good. I've read good things about the running back they brought in to replace Scatterville. But I don't know. It felt like a lot of magic in a bottle last year for them.
Yeah.
And that's hard to replicate. Although,
I mean, they still, with all that they did last year, they still barely beat a bad Mississippi State team and Texas State, and then granted without Sam Levitt, lost to UC. And there's one other game in there, Big 12 game. I think it's funny that we're like getting rid of the preseason poll because they were picked 16th. Well, up until about the last month of the season, nobody saw this coming. I mean, they had losses or very close wins to not good teams. Why did anybody why would anybody think that they were going to go to the playoff and nearly beat Texas?
Right.
I don't think that's the poll didn't do that. They didn't do that for about 7-8 weeks of the season.
Thanks, Coach Dan.
Yeah,
he says,
thank you.
Wisconsin QB Bill Edwards Jr. is a ginger. No relation to the former
change your name to Captain Obvious.
Well, I don't know, Dave. If you follow TikTok, all gingers were moved into the African American community earlier this year.
Oh, really?
All gingers were they were deemed black. So maybe
all I know is that they don't. The only thing I know about them is they have no souls.
No, it's going to be a fascinating year, and again, I'm kind of glad they didn't do a media poll because I have no idea with this league. I have no idea. I know who should be good. I know who's got good players, but when every game is decided essentially in the fourth quarter, who the hell knows?
I don't disagree with you. My point is I think it's still borderline absurd to say that the reason you're not doing it is because the team that ended up in the playoff from the Big 12 was picked to finish 16th, and that had a negative effect on them. I'm like, no, barely beating crappy Mississippi State and Texas State and losing to UC had way more effect on what people thought of them than where they were picked in the Big 12 preseason poll.
I agree. I do think, though, when you get down into it, some of the things the college football playoff poll almost directly mirrored, if not directly mirrored, the AP poll when it was first released. That stuff does have an impact. So I understand where they're coming from and saying we're not going to give them any extra ammo. Our league is already tough enough to figure out. We're not going to put anybody behind the 8 ball because Chad from Bearcat Journal decided to pull names out of a hat to factor in on 1/16 of the poll.
You should just put every team T1.
Yeah.
Team one, team 2. They're all tied for first.
Put a 1 by all 16 names.
Yeah.
My poll's a tie. Until you guys figure it out and somebody separates himself from the pack, I'm not doing this for you.
Right.
I don't know. It should be a fascinating season ahead. And the reality is, Dave, we only have one more BCJ podcast before camp starts.
Well,
next week we'll bring you our camp preview show.
My summer of hell is almost over. British Open this week, and then we're into football, and I've made it. I've made it another year.
That's
Just
all.
the
Like
thought-
just getting from the national championship game in basketball to the start of football practice is Dave's personal hell.
Well,
every
no,
year.
because you got for me, I've got Masters in April. I've got NFL draft. I've got U.S. Open in June. Thunder helped out a ton, winning the title.
Yeah.
Well into June. Then I've got British Open in July, and now I'm almost to football. So this year has been better than most. But yeah, it's some years it's rough.
Running a podcast network this summer has not been fun.
No.
Because it's not been a lot to like there are some summers we're really busy and there's a lot of stuff that goes on and there's a lot of angles and a lot of
you know why it's slowed down so much is because for 2 years somebody was always saying something about realignment.
Sure. Yeah.
And didn't matter what time of year it was, there was always at least one story that or whatever that would carry us through. And
that
now
brought Dan Simon into our lives.
Dan's been quiet. I was actually thinking about him the other day.
You didn't reach out to him, but you were just thinking about him.
I was hoping he was doing good. I mean, there's not a lot of news
like the Bobcats are trying to get into the Sun Belt.
Yeah. That realignment is, he's eating at Carbone. That's like, in Vegas, that's like the food court people. So, those type of realignment stories. Those guys are eating at the food court. He ain't hanging with them.
Do you think, before we move to a little bit of basketball before we get out of here for the night, do you think we're going to end up staying at 12 in 2026 for the college football playoff?
Should I do what I did when we talked about a realignment all the time or the playoff? Sure. I don't know. These guys don't have any idea what they want. I mean, you got SEC media days. You got some coaches talking about 8-game schedules, other coaches talking about 9 games. I mean, they still can't figure that part out. I don't think. Right. I guess. I mean, I'll put a slight foot down on. I don't think it changes until they go to 9 conference games. I think as long as the SEC is playing 8 conference games, I think it stays at 12.
Why does nobody care that the ACC only plays 8 conference games?
Because no one cares about the ACC.
That was Captain Obvious.
I say that somewhat tongue in cheek because, like, in the grand scheme of things, no one cares about the Big 12 either. They're both just kind of in that space together. But, I think it stays at 12 until they figure out a way to make it move to 16. I mean, it feels like some of those coaches do agree with the, 5 plus 11, plus 11, just the conference, the best team in the conference, and then 11. And that's where I sit. But I still think it's just hilarious that the sport in general just allows the conferences that are competing for the same end goal to play different number of conference games.
Well, the SEC they mandate you have to play one Power 4 game. So
at least they do. The Big Ten doesn't even do. I mean, the Big Ten plays 9 conference games, but then you just got all these teams with 3 cream puff games. But like, I mean, imagine if like the AFC North was like, we're gonna play 8 conference divisional games instead of 6. And like, why are we doing this? Why you're trying to get into the playoff? Everybody that is eligible for the playoff should have the same-ish type of schedule, same schedule when it comes to the conference. How you want to do your non-conference games, I'm kind of whatever on because they're your games to pick. Like, no one is picking them for you, and money can be important, or rivalries, or regionality, whatever. But everybody should, whether it's 8 or 9, everybody should play the same number of conference games. If you're trying to compete to go to the same end game, then there should be you shouldn't be able to manipulate your schedule in a way that could potentially benefit you when it comes to your conference games.
Yeah, I would also say that I do think the one good thing that has come out of this, Dave, is we've kind of gotten away from this like SEC Big 12 scheduling alliance idea where, they were going to try to block out like, well, if the SEC and the Big 10 are each playing each other one game, then the ACC and the Big 12 were never going to get a game against the SEC.
No, right. Yeah, you're right.
So I do think that's one good thing that has come out of this is that at least for now, those two sides are not quite as lovey-dovey as they pretended to be for like a week.
Yeah.
My stance on it. You could not find two sides that are more on opposite ends of the spectrum on almost everything, on how they see everything. And we were supposed to believe that now they were just going to come together as one. It's playing out that is not something that I ever see going well. They might try it. They might try to do something together. But once you get all those people in the same room, one side does it one way and one side does it the other way. And there's very little common ground in where each side stands other than we want all the money.
No, because there's no, they're in competition with each other for national championships, for who's making the most money on TV, for countless other things. There's no way that they can come to a 50-50 agreement on something.
No.
And so if they can't come to a 50-50 agreement, then the one side is never going to let the other side feel like they have an advantage.
51-49. They're never going to allow 51-49 to happen. Forget 60-40 or 55-45. 50.1 to 49.9. They will not put themselves in that position.
Right.
So I don't know. But that's it's been kind of an interesting offseason that is also kind of a boring offseason in other ways, outside of revenue share starting and
because they have to make a decision on this by December, and once the season starts, I feel like that is something that's not going to be front and center.
No.
The summer is the time to make changes in something like that. And, I feel like it's going to be harder to come to a consensus to make a change where they'll probably just end up going, okay, we're going to do 12 again in 26. And then next summer we'll figure it out. Cause it'll be after that, it'll be the third year. I might be totally wrong on this, but I think maybe there's some window for TV. Obviously, if they change the format, then I don't know if that opens up an automatic negotiating window, because now there's more inventory of games and everything. So I'm not sure exactly how that works. I've tried to not worry about or even care to look at those things, but yeah, it just feels like if something doesn't happen before the season starts, that the likelihood of it staying at 12 for 2026 increases dramatically.
Yeah. Hold on. Okay. I saw a tweet from Ross Dellinger, and that usually makes me stop in my tracks, but it's not really. just about the CSC and collectives and all that stuff. Whatever. We'll put a timestamp on that. Brought to you by Turtles Brew, 0 sugar, 0 carbs, gluten-free. It's a bourbon-infused sweet tea. They have 5 flavors: lemonade tea, strawberry mint, cherry lime, raspberry peach, and orange vanilla. There's more than 50 locations in Greater Cincinnati, over 100 around Ohio. Visit turtlesbrew.com for information and the locations nearest you. We got to see Wes Miller today, which was nice. First time we've talked to Wes in a couple months. We also got to talk to Day Thomas, and more importantly, Baba Miller and Kerr Creesa on the microphone for the first time as Bearcats. I was really impressed with both of those guys. I thought they handled themselves very well, and not surprising. You know, Baba Miller, that's his 4th year in college. Kerr Creesa, it's his 6th. Like they've had a lot of time in front of a microphone, so not surprised that those two guys were good. But I thought it was at least good to get to hear from everybody at kind of the halfway point of the summer program.
Any comment from Wes that was either piqued your interest, unexpected, interesting? Like how did you take his comments today?
I mean, I think it was a lot of coach speak from Wes as usual.
But I mean, what do we think we're getting in the middle of July?
Not exactly that. Like I'm not faulting him for that. I just like
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like I think that's totally understandable.
Yeah. I think the most interesting thing was probably him talking about getting more production out of the post, being able to throw the ball inside and get some activity, whether it be a guy catching it in the post and being able to put it in the basket, or a guy catching it and being able to draw defense and being able to pass out of it. Because to be honest, for a couple of years, there's not been a lot of throw the ball in and expect something out of it, be it passing back out, be it turning and scoring. It just wasn't part of how those teams were built. They didn't get a lot out of it. I mean, some from Vic when Vic was here, but you had Vic playing the 4 a lot the last year he was here, so he didn't post up a whole lot then either. So that was interesting. And then I think the more interesting thing for me was the talk. The ball screen is the ball screen and the handoff are such massive components of college basketball now, and being able to have guys that can, one, set an effective screen. There was not a lot of that last year. Set an effective screen, and then be a threat to either roll to the basket or, kind of space to 15 feet or pick and pop, or be able to take the handoff and fake the handoff and make a backdoor cut pass. Like, the different things that they're going to be able to do with their bigs, because the skill level is increased. For me, it just changes the way that you execute offense. Like, I don't think, this is not me saying they're going to run different offense, Dave. They're just going to run offense with more options based on the way that the roster has been constructed. And then a lot of clarification on the Corey Evans stuff. A lot of questions about like what Corey is doing. And I think one of the guys asked, Baba and Kerr, like, how much was he involved? Well, he wasn't really involved in the recruitment.
No.
Where he is involved, if you listen to Wes, is
the identification.
Does this guy fit? Yeah, like not even just identification, but when they're having these conversations about, okay, we think we've got an in on this guy. Is this a guy that is smart for us? I think those conversations are now a lot more detailed and a lot more specific, as opposed to let's just go get the talent and then we'll figure it out. Like, I think this is a natural progression of the portal era, because I think there is the first couple of years of this thing, Dave. Let's just get as much talent as we can get. And then once we get everybody together, we'll figure it out. Well, we saw for the last 2 years, there was a glut at the 5, and then there was a glut at the 3, 4. Like, this feels a little bit different because it feels like it was a little more detailed, if that's the right word that I'm looking for.
Yeah, I agree. I threw out the Noah's Ark thing, and as far as offensive talent, and he didn't say it that way, but I mean, he felt he made a comment similar to, like, I don't know if he said we're not as limited or we have more options, but it certainly seems that way. Now, will that translate into scoring more points, winning more games? That's to be determined. But
sure,
at this stage of the game, I think you have to be pleased with where things stand.
Yeah, I mean, there's a long way to go, and in this conference, even if you're great, there are others that are right there with you.
Yeah.
So I'm not ready to anoint this team or crown this team or whatever. I just think it makes a little bit more sense. Like,
yeah.
it we're not looking at it. And I still, is there, I don't know if it was you or Aaron or somebody like asked me, like, are they good enough at the 2 guard? Like, I'm not sure yet. Because I don't think they have that just definitive, like, here's the ball, go get me a bucket guy. But I do feel a lot more confident offensively, and I think it was Aaron. But
yeah, I asked you, but I was asking you if he's ever even had a 2 guard.
What?
He hasn't.
No, I think some of that is I think he likes having 2 point guards, like 2 ball handlers on the floor at most times. But that does take away from having an elite, like, 20 point a game guy, because I look at this roster, Dave, and I still don't know that anybody's going to be above like 13, 14 points a game.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about that some time ago, within the last month, of like, we like the parts, but we still don't necessarily feel like we have that offensive go-to guy, and that is there a guy that can get you over that kind of 15 point a game mark? Not sure there is. Again, you can win a lot of different ways. We saw last year the sum of the parts thing didn't work. I like the parts better this year, but you're still then hoping that the sum of the parts thing works in a league that the teams that are whoever finishes in the top 4 or 5 or 6, they're all going to have a guy.
Yeah.
So are you going to be able to break into that group without having someone that, at least right now, has identified themselves as that type of player?
And the 3-man weave crew that work over for Trilly on his Discord, they put out their top 100, and it's the first top 100 I've seen of the off season. Now that we're getting closer to August, and you're going to start seeing a lot more of these come out, they did not have a Bearcat in the top 100. Now, I would argue, I don't know the validity of a top 100 that doesn't have Mustafa Cham in it.
I mean, if you're on NBA early 2-round mock drafts as a 2nd-round player, how can you not be in the top 100?
Agree. And some of it, though, is strictly from an eye of college basketball.
Right. I mean, that's a projection. That's a
yeah.
Right. They're different measuring sticks, but still.
But they had, I think, 3 guys in the top, in like that next 50, which we had this conversation last year. There's a couple guys that are on the cusp. The problem was last year, nobody made that leap.
Right.
There was nobody at the end of the year last year that we went, they had a top 100 guy in college basketball. So I still have a little bit of trepidation. Now, I am going to let this play out and get more of a consensus on these top 100 lists, because that's when I raised my concern last year, was when I had seen like 10, 12 top 100 lists, and none of them had a UC guy on them. And I went, oh boy, I think we think this team has got a chance to be pretty good, but if you don't have a top 100 player, you're going to have challenges that, the teams with one or two or three of those guys aren't going to have. So I'm still a little bit leery about, not seeing that.
Yeah, because if you think about it, we're talking about having one guy on there and breaking into the upper echelon of the Big 12 and making the tournament. How many Big 12 teams have, like I said, two or three guys on there?
Right.
And how you're going to combat that? You're going to go with zero, and you're going to jump into that mix of teams with multiples?
Right.
Not saying it can't be done, but
what you need, though, is guys that didn't make the top 100 to perform like their top 100 players.
Like in an end of the year top 100, there's two or three guys on that list, and that's how you get to the tournament.
Right.
I don't give a shit what the list is today. It's like be on the list at the end, and that'll tell me if we're good or not.
You know what I did find interesting today, Dave?
I'm sure several
was not a lot of Jizzle James talk today.
No.
Which is something to note, right? Like at this time last year, there was a lot of Jizzle James talk.
Well, maybe that's for the best.
Maybe. I'm not saying it's a good thing or bad thing. It's just something.
It's just an observation.
Walking out of that room today, and maybe some of it is there were high expectations for Jizzle at this time last year. Those expectations were not met. So the buzz dies down.
Well, you can also look into, we don't know the reasons, but look at who was provided to the media.
Yeah. But Jizzle's never really been provided to the media. He has not, maybe once or twice, he has not been a guy that we've had on the podium a whole lot.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, like, you could be an eloquent, great speaker, friendly with the media, but if you're the 11th, 12th guy, you're not going to get to go to the preseason media availability.
I don't think he's going to be the 11th or 12th guy. That's not what I'm getting at. But it is at least a little bit.
I don't either, but I'm just saying, like,
Josh Reed was great with the media, and we didn't talk to him much until he started.
He was the best player on the planet.
There's 3 weeks that he was the Big 12 player of the year. He was the Big 12 player of the
January 15th to February 4th.
A fortnight, right? A fortnight's about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Is that what a fortnight is?
I don't know. I don't do
it. He was the
anything.
Big 12 player of a fortnight. But that was just, the ebbs and flows of things. And of course, everybody wants to talk about the new guys. So the guys that have been here are going to get talked about a little bit less. The guy we did talk a lot today was the guy that I've been hearing a ton about, and that's Keyshawn Tillery.
Yeah.
Kirk Creesa called him a pro.
Kirk Creesa also, I'll bring, this is just funny to me and maybe only me, but other people as well. Kirk Creesa also noted the tough and nastiness of the Bearcats basketball team as the reason why he transferred here. And that kind of made me laugh, and I wonder if he was watching a different era of big Bearcats basketball players, and that when he said that.
Well, I mean, he did say, like, I committed to play for Hugs, and I know Hugs used to coach here, so I know that that was the context of that, really, is I committed to play for Bob, and I know Bob's teams were nasty and big and, whatever. So I know that's part of the tradition here. He also was a freshman in college when Mick Cronin was here, I think. Or he was a freshman in college, Mick's first year at UCLA. Is that what
I did? He did say, the quote is, "I've always liked the way Coach Miller's teams have played. They're tough and nasty."
His teams have always been good defensively. They've had top 30 defenses every year.
Yeah, I wouldn't call them tough or nasty.
Well, I think you're letting last year cloud. I mean, those first couple of years, that's all they had was tough and nasty, Dave. Like, they didn't wasn't a whole lot of talent otherwise. I think last year maybe clouds the judgment a little bit that those teams played with a little bit of an edge. Kerr didn't play the Bearcats last year, so he didn't have much experience there. And then, I like the comments on Buck, on Sincere Harris. Get used to hearing Buck. Name's not Sincere. It's Buck. His name is Sincere, but they call him Buck. Being a guy that is going to pick you up 94 feet. They sold us a little bit, I think, too heavy on him as an offensive threat. Has scored 5.5, 6 points a game last year on a West Virginia team that
couldn't score.
Outside of Javon Small, had trouble finding the beach from the ocean from the beach. So that's a Marvin Lewis, tag that one, believe it when I see it. But yeah, I mean, the interesting thing will be, is this really a team that is going to play a lot through their bigs? And how does that work in 2025? Because it can be done.
Right.
There are teams that have done it. It's just not the norm. Not the norm. But Aaron and I will have much more of that tonight on the nightcap when we get to a little talking about talking. But it happened today, so I wanted to get a little thoughts from Dave on everything. Anything else that you heard today that caught your interest?
No, because it's like we said earlier, it's July 16th. There's nothing that's going to be said that I'm like, oh shit, I need to reevaluate what I think this team is going to do this year.
That doesn't mean things can't catch your attention. Like that things can catch your attention without you going as far as I need to reevaluate my thoughts on the team.
No, there was really nothing that caught my attention. You've hit everything quite nicely.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up then.
No, it is not going to wrap it up.
Oh, okay.
We are talking about your guys' segment Monday night because I'm embarrassed to call you guys friends on one issue and one issue alone.
Okay.
The segment was called Home Run Hitters. Am I correct?
Yeah, I picked home run hitters.
No, you didn't. Sandy Koufax hit 2 home runs in his entire baseball playing career.
That's a home run hitter is not necessary. You don't have to hit home runs.
Okay, you're right. You don't.
Pryor is a home run hitter.
Aaron picked a guy whose nickname is the Greek god of walks.
That's fair. That's fair.
And none of you assholes picked Marty Gilliard, which is an atrocity of all Bearcat fans' atrocities.
That's
to
fair.
Not select the biggest home run hitter in the history of UC athletics.
We even tried to talk Ryan into taking him at the end, and it didn't work.
We all realized we messed up and missed Marty, and we tried to talk Ryan.
I was listening to this driving. I'm going, if these sons of bitches do this whole thing without picking Marty Gilliard, I'm going to lose it on Wednesday night.
At least Luke Fickle got taken.
Yeah, exactly.
Sauce was a home run.
I mean,
he hit a couple home runs.
I would have picked Chad. I would have picked Evan Pryor. He was first and foremost in my picks. I would have picked Quentin Coates as my other current Bearcat because I would think he will lead the baseball to lead the baseball team in home runs this year.
I considered him.
And then I thought about RDA4 for a past Bearcat. But I also then remembered that Eddie Grand liked to run him up the middle on
right up the middle.
5.
Yeah, right up the middle.
So,
at 5'6", 180 pounds, right up the middle.
Like the Marty Gilliard thing, I was just like, what are we?
No, you're right. You're right.
I had the guy. I call him what you will, but I had the guy who had the most home runs of all time as a Bearcat. So.
The Greek god of walks.
I know, but it's just funny that we're talking home run hitters and he had a nickname of the Greek god of walks.
Maybe they need to get more home run hitters. Stop this button stuff, Bishop.
But no, that was it. I mean, I got to stick up for Marty. I mean, It's one thing to have like a mild oversight, but we're literally talking about like the biggest home run hitter in any sport in UC history, and you guys didn't name it.
You're right. I probably should have taken him over Koufax, but
Probably.
Look, you know what would have happened if Sandy Koufax would have pitched a home run derby? Nobody would have hit a fucking home run.
Well, yeah, because they just lob it out there.
Right. No, Sandy Koufax was going to and if somebody did hit a home run, then he would have knocked you down on the next pitch.
Yeah, probably so. But no, that's all I had on that. I was just driving, getting angrier and angrier. Like, what are we even doing here?
I blame those other three knuckleheads. I took Oscar and Sandy Koufax. I can't be blamed.
I mean, at least you took players. Royer takes Luke Fickell, who, yes, they went to the playoff and he played for him. But if we're going to pick coaches, like Brian Kelly was way bigger of a home run hitting coach than Luke Fickell was.
Yeah, Luke Fickell was a Jim Tressel, grinded out, we didn't think of Dez as like a home run hitting quarterback. No,
I mean he had the wheels to do it, but no, you're right. I mean I'm thinking home run hitting from a football standpoint is like a particular player or like a style of offense, and like the Pike and Bibbs and Gilliard, like that was the home run football program to pick.
Team.
Together, everyone achieves more, Dave.
Yeah.
Team.
Well, you're in real big block letters on the back of your quarter zip.
There's no I in team, Dave, but there is a me.
Yeah. So anyway,
all right, that's gonna wrap it up. I will. We will see you guys next time. Aaron and I will have a talk about talking with more detail about the basketball media conference from today. And we'll see you soon. That is the BCJ podcast. 12 days away from camp. We're almost there. Oh, and by the way, Nico Palizzetti, Monday night on the BBP. One last Nico appearance before camp starts. The BCJ podcast brought to you by the Holy Grail. Live from the Cincy Light Studios right here on BearcatJournal.com.